All right. Thank you for continuing to join with me on this story about me and the pulmonary embolism that I had when I was in China. So I'm in the ICU and the nurses are hooking me up. I had to get a heart monitor, maybe 3, and then the little oxygen thing they put over your finger to show how your oxygen levels are. And I did that. They had that in there, and then I had to get. They started me on warfarin, Coumadin, basically thin my blood out. A very common anticoagulant. That's what it is. So they had started me on that, several IVs of that, and then they said they gave me some vitamin D, I think, or C, intravenously. This is all intravenously. I mean, needles don't bother me, so they serve food in the hospital. You don't get a choice. After that, I was in the ICU. I don't know how long. I was in the hospital like 10 days. ICU 7 days, a week, a little over a week. I don't remember. Anyways, while I was in there, I did cry. I text my mom. I did have my phone, so I might not text all of y'all, but I text my mom and of course my friends to keep them up to date with what was going on and all of that. And the nurses was really nice. The ICU was full. Well, it wasn't that full when I got there, but I did see some patients that were really, really well, where they were worse than I was, and I was like, oh my goodness. Some of them came in completely unconscious, and all the nursing staff was nice, and the head nurse came and talked to me, and she said her name, I cannot remember her name, and she was like, I'm the head nurse. If you need anything, let us know. And they had like a little tablet, like a translate, like Google Translate is a translator tablet that they use to communicate with me. They were taking care of me. I got my temperature read several times. I got my vitals several times. All of those doggone IVs. Now, this is the first time I was ever in the hospital as an adult. I had never been in the hospital. Let's see, that's probably if you count being born, and then you count when I had my reconstructive surgery of my ACL, this is the third time I ever in my life been in the hospital. And this was very critical because it's an ICU, you know. You understand like how people are stable in the ICU, but stable don't mean they can't die. But anyway, yeah, I was there, and like I said, the nurses were nice, and they served 3 meals every day, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I had to have traditional Chinese food. Everything is rice, y'all. Rice. More rice. Rice with something. So a lot of times the nurses was like, they saw what I got, and they was like, oh, you're not eating this. I know you're not. What do you want us to order you? So me, I already got this pulmonary embolism, and I'm ordering stuff. I'm supposed to be on a low fat, low salt diet. I'm ordering stuff like I ordered from Papa Domino's or Papa John's, KFC, McDonald's, junk. But I didn't ever get any noodles. I should have got noodles, but just the thought of noodles was like, oh, I don't know why, but I should have got some. But yeah, I ate some of the traditional Chinese food, and some of it was good. You know, I like a lot of vegetables. I don't really eat a lot of meat, so I was fine with that. And I would have to pay the nurses back in renminbi. That's the money from Chinese money. So, and I would use my phone to kind of translate from their app. So they have an app where you could just order things, and then they dropped it off at the ICU. I know the people looking at it. At one point, somebody said, they say you eat fast food every day. I was like, no, I don't. It won't eat. I don't know who said that, but I was like, no, I don't eat fast food every day. I didn't. At some point, my money was running a little low, and I was like, I don't want to spend it all, so I'm gonna just have to eat this, even though I just some of it was just not good. And they had this stuff called kanji, and I probably put a picture in, and it basically looks like watery rice, and they like to put bamboo shoots on it, and they eat it with a steam roll. The steam roll has sometimes it has something in it, like it may not have nothing, or some vegetables that kind of remind. There's some greens, very seasoned, and then they have another one with meat. I tried to eat the one with the meat the vegetables, but it was too much seasoning for me. It was, I guess it was too strong or whatever. It was too seasoned. So I didn't really eat that. And then they give you a boiled egg. And I mean, I don't really eat eggs. I can eat a boiled egg, but I tried to. I was texting my mom about it. She's like, well, you got to eat something. So I ate that boiled egg every day. Every day. There was no fruit in these meals, so I didn't get to choose what I ate in ICU. There was no choice at all. So I had to eat that. And these meals, basically $2 a day for all 3 meals, so that's pretty cheap. They come around with a silver tray and they put your food up there and then you eat it and then they take the tray away and that's it. And then you get your medicine. Is basically that. And I had to use my little yeah, my friend had to buy my what do you call that thing? The little I just said it. What is it? The little thing you sit on, the what is it? I can't even think of the word. Anyway, I had to sit on that thing and I just couldn't I like I said, my muscles just weren't they weren't really cooperating. I couldn't hardly use the bathroom. And they wanted me to use the bathroom. And I wasn't, because I couldn't do it. And it's like, well, you're going to have to use the bathroom or we're going to have to put a catheter in. I was like, oh boy, you're not putting no catheter in me. Down. So I did the bathroom, but I didn't go to the bathroom bad because I was like, I'm not using this thing. So they started giving me some laxatives to make me go. I finally did go once, but that was horrible. Ooh, it was horrible. Shout out to the caregivers and all the people who take care of adults because it's not an easy job. But yeah, that happened, and basically only a curtain separated you in the ICU. And when the first night I was there, I heard this man was like, excuse me, this black man. I think he was African. And he was like, I need some water. And let me get back to that. Water, y'all. Every time I said I wanted some water, they gave me hot water. I had to drink hot water, y'all. No, I drink tea. But I had to drink hot water. Whew. I wanted some cool water, but they said because of my condition, I need to have hot water. I don't know. So yeah, the doctor told me there was somebody else. There was like 3 more people in the ICU that had the pulmonary embolism. So that's something. So please move around. But I mean, it could still happen even if you didn't move around. I don't know if the altitude had something to do with it too. And having sickle cell trait, meaning some of my cells, my blood cells, they act like they're sickled in certain conditions. Anyway, so yeah, that ICU experience I had, it was a teaching hospital. So all of there were some students that came around and they had their basically looking at the prognosis and asking questions. I don't know what they were saying, but I knew that's what they were doing. And I had to sit here and they did a ultrasound on my heart from the blood clot, and the man the doctor was like, blockage. They see that's a heart. He couldn't really, he couldn't speak English, but they tried their best. And I understood, and being a biology major, I understood what it, and then looking at medical stuff, so I understood what he was saying. And then they were talking about the prognosis and all of that. And they were saying maybe you might have to stay for a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, a month? I'm going to miss Christmas and New Year's. If I have to stay a whole month, I was like, oh no. And so they continued to take care of me. At one point, I had that infection in my lungs, which is basically pneumonia. So at one point, I was really hot. And I woke up to them, and they had ice packs all around me. And I was like, what in the world? They said, you had a fever, and we're trying to cool you down, basically. They had ice packs on me, and ooh, it was cold, but that fever went down, and the infection in the lungs went away, obviously. And I had to take all of that medicine. 3 rounds of that medicine, man. And it made me feel bad, too. I didn't like how it made me feel. They pair you with a medical social worker in China, which she was so nice. Her name was Hillary. That's her American name she gave herself, I guess. And her other is Kui Shon or something like that. Anyway, she was very nice, and she asked me questions like how long your visa lasts here, and do you have your passport? You got a flight home? She was going to help me with all of that. And I was like, can you get me some apple juice or some fruit? Because I'm used to eating some fruit at least a whole bunch of times in a week. She's like, okay, I'll see. I'll ask the doctor and see if I can get you that. So she's like, well, I have to go. I have a few more people. She said, I couldn't find apple juice, but I got you an orange juice. So that was really sweet. And then I had to go back and get the scan again, and they had to put that stuff in me. And I'm telling you, that was the first time I got up, and my feet, they felt, I'm telling you, it felt funny to walk, and I could tell I was so weak and fragile, basically. Being in that ICU, that's the most comfortable bed ever, but Lord have mercy, I was weak, literally. So I got in there, and they took me there, and it was funny because all of those Chinese people, ain't no black people around there. There's a whole bunch of Chinese people looking at this. Who is this? I guess I look like a celebrity or something. Or maybe they thought I was a celebrity or something. I don't know. So after that, they made arrangements. They said, well, we're going to move you up to the main floor in 2 days or something like that. It took a long time. So basically, my understanding, it was getting cold because we went to China in December. So it's cold in there, cold during that time, just like it is here sometimes in North Carolina. But I had to wait because a lot of times the hospital fills up fast because the older people they have infections and respiratory issues. So I was going to the respiratory floor, and I got me a room. Thank God, I was so happy to get in that room. That room had 3 people, 3 beds in there, and I moved up, and it had a bathroom, a private bathroom. Oh my gosh, the first thing I did, I went to the bathroom once I got there, and the nurse was like, are you okay? I was like, yes. I was able to sit on the toilet, y'all. That's TMI, but I was happy about that, but they said you can't do that much. My heart rate was high.